And if you want to read my mind, just go ahead. There's nothing to hide. I'm so depressed. I'm not.
We recording on here. Take 5. That will be 10. Here we are, back at it again. Another night, another video. And as usual, I was just thinking, about the times that I've had in the military and everything. And I want to jump straight into it, right? So I was older when I joined, right? I was older. And I would say for like maybe a lot of people they research these things and they think about them before they make these haste decisions. But I was one of those guys where I was kind of on the fence. I had been thinking about it for a long time, and it was kind of eating me alive. I didn't want to live with regret, so I said, "F it, man." Jumped straight in there, man, and I got straight to it, man. I enlisted. If y'all want to hear about my MELPS process, y'all can comment that down below. I'll drop that down there for you. But today, what I wanted to talk about is how I overcame depression in the army. I'm not laughing at anybody's mental health or lack thereof, but I'm just laughing just because to think like I had got so far away from that. I had worked so hard to get out of that mental space at one point in my life just to get right back into it. Right. So let's dive down memory lane. Let's do a deep dive and let's see what we come up with. All right, let's go. So, you know, I want to talk a little bit about like how this came to be, right? I understand that mental health is a big, big deal. And throughout my first year in the army, so I was still under the impression like I work hard, and everything's gonna be fine. In basic, I had a bunch of people tell me things, people that was high ranking, and I also had a bunch of other people in AIT who was high ranking or who was retired and whatnot, who was telling me things as well. And I let that kind of play in my head, not on a negative term, but more so of a here's how your future could turn out and here's the steps you should take to do it, right? um First on that, don't enlist with a degree. You got a degree, do not enlist. Do whatever you can to commission, and that's another topic and another discussion for another day, but I could tell you many reasons why. Okay, but how I overcame my depression. So I remember getting to my unit, right? And you talk to people who've been there for a while, senior specialists, NCOs, officers, things like that, man. You converse with people, you learn a lot, you meet people, a lot of people, and they just tell you about certain things, man. And you can go on social media, you can see stuff, you can hear stuff, so you kind of got a good idea how the game go. You see what I'm saying? I ain't green to life, bro. I told people all the time, like, I'm new to the army, I ain't new to life, but a lot of times I felt like that's how they was trying to treat me. But nevertheless, I get to my first unit and I realized real quickly, you know, that I think I made a mistake. Not saying that joining the army is a mistake, but necessarily um for what I wanted to do in life, and what I left behind, and me seeing that I could have stuck it out and just did things a different way. A lot of regret has started to play back in my mind, man. But the biggest thing for me was like I even like real talk. I'm not a big religion guy, man. Like I've studied all of them. I read all the books. I'm not a big religion guy, but I was talking to whatever divine energy was out there speaking out, and the only thing I was like praying about was, don't let me lose myself in this. Don't allow me to come into this and become stagnant, and to feel like everything that I work for, all the talent and potential and capabilities that I have, don't let that fall by the wayside. And I'm not gonna lie, it felt like that a lot. It felt like that a lot, and a lot of regret had started to set in, and a lot of turmoil that was going on in my life, a lot of things that had transpired over the time that I was even in basic and AIT, which is not long. All of the things that had happened so fast, I got in my own head and I got to thinking like, man, maybe I made a bad decision. Maybe like I'm going to regret this. You know what I'm saying? It's not what I thought it was. Very much wasn't. It's not what I thought it was. And that's when the depression started to set in. Like, man, I'm about to be back on the hamster wheel, back where I thought I was like 10 years ago, 5 years ago. I'm about to be back there, man. And I'm not gonna lie, a deep dark cloud came over me, and it got to the point where I couldn't I couldn't handle, my alcoholic intake. I couldn't like just get in a positive mental headspace. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a very angry and aggressive person, but I don't allow that to be shown to anyone that I'm around, unless we doing PT or working out or something like that. Then you see that side of me. But just going throughout every day, I don't like to be angry. I don't like to be aggressive. I don't like to carry that spirit with me. But I had it at this point in time. And it was taking control of me, man. Taking control of me. I'm talking about breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm finding myself in the bottle. And though it wasn't showing on the outside, I knew for sure it was killing me on the inside, man. I was dying on the inside. I couldn't get it together, you know. But what I did is I started to think about all the talks like me and my pops had, all the different, lessons that he had tried to teach me throughout life, and those started replaying in my mind. Looking at different scenarios and saying, like, okay, I'm here. How do I get there? Where do I want to end up in life? Let me start reverse engineering. Seeing certain situations that I didn't want to be in. I knew that for sure from just being around certain people. I knew how I did not want to end up. So I was like, I gotta fix this, man. By whatever means possible, I gotta fix it. Just going out on the weekend, indulging in things I really shouldn't be indulging in. But just my choice of women at the time who I was dating, the people I was associating myself around, outside of work, and the negative mental talk and the negative self-talk that was just killing me. I had to change that. And it's funny because, like I say, looking back during this time, like everybody talks about PMA, 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 positive mental attitude, right? And it's different when it's you, when you're going through whatever you're going through when you're in the moment. But I think the thing that helped me was like I've been there before. Like maybe I made a bad decision, like maybe I went against my better judgment, but you know, it is what you make it, right? You get out what you put in. So that's why I started like finding other people who will reach out to me who was going through things that I think were much far worse than what I felt like I was going through at the time. And as I helped those guys through the situation, that's when I started to be like, okay, like I don't know, some strange reason, maybe I'm here for a purpose. You see what I'm saying? Maybe I'm here to serve a bigger purpose. Maybe I'm doing something that's going to outlive me. You know, because the last thing I wanted somebody to do was feel like me or get in that same headspace I was in. Some people were already there and they were too far gone. I couldn't help them, but other people, I really had to embrace them. Wrap them in a warm embrace and bring them in and let them know like right now ain't forever. You see what I'm saying? It's a way for us to get past this. And I know it may sound cliche the things I'm talking about, but seriously, man, like I've lost a lot of people to self deletion. I've lost a lot of people from to deletion in the streets, things like that. And I just, I didn't want to keep living in the past. I also didn't want to keep seeing a pattern in my life of people letting themselves, you know what I'm saying, taking themselves away from here. I didn't want to see that. So I was like, I think um maybe this is, I don't know, like people would call it narcissistic or something, but I always think it starts with me. And I said, I have to be that person first. I'm not a big kiki and ha ha and dude. I'm not about to do that with you. We can have fun, man. We can be silly. It's a very lighthearted space sometimes. But for the most part, I'm square business. And I said it has to start with me. So let me get myself right. I've always been on top of my fitness. Like, make no mistake about that. Always been on top of my fitness. Things like that really helped me. Like, like bring it out home and say like I'm gonna get this thing together, man, because I can't keep living like this. I'm talking like 6, 8 months straight, almost dang near a year. I was just in a downward spiral. And though I was still being productive, I knew in my mind carrying myself like that to work that you can only get so far like that, is what I'm saying. Some people get further than others in that type of headspace, but most people don't get that far with that type of mentality. And I had to break out of that. I didn't want it to be a cycle. I didn't want to keep seeing patterns that I had, seen before, or things that had kept reoccurring in my life. I wanted to break it, and the book stopped here. You see what I'm saying? So maybe you're going through something similar. Maybe you know somebody who's going through something similar. We've lost people here recently. I've lost people like best friend, like the person that mean the world to me, due to things like this, and I don't want to see that happen ever again. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, man, just really buckling down. Like I said, I was always productive. I was always on top of my fitness, but I just knew internally I was about to implode. And if I didn't get it under wraps, then it was gonna be a huge problem. Right. So in school, PT, finding hobbies outside, just making these little videos, posting them, editing, learning social media, things like that, man. It just kept my mind away from that. And it helped me see, like, even though this may not be what I thought it was, you know what I'm saying? It's still a good situation. It really is. Like, for anybody that's thinking about it, or anybody that's in, or anybody who's thinking of getting out, like, it is a good thing that we have here going on. But I just knew like I'm capable of more. I feel like it's not being used to their full potential. And some kind of way, somehow, I have to find it. I have to. And I went out searching for it. And though I still don't feel 100% fulfilled, at the same time, I still have a part of me where I feel like I am fulfilling, you know what I'm saying, myself, and fulfilling my purpose in other ways. And that's all I could do right now, because I don't want to be the person that you talk to and everything's just bad, everything's negative. The person that's always turning you away from stuff, or the person that's always like putting other things down, people's dreams and hopes and wishes. I'm not that guy. Even if it's not going well for me, if you come to me and say, "Hey, I want to do this, or I'm thinking about this," I'm gonna tell you go do it, because it may not be for me, it may be for you, and you may be the person to turn the situation around for everybody that love you. So I'm not one of those guys, man. But yeah, it was a struggle. Anybody going through it, my heart goes out to you, because I understand how that feels, and I understand how it feels to lose somebody who's dealing with something like that too. But if you need to, man, like I say, I'm always around. You can DM or hit me up, message, or whatever. Drop a comment down below. It's just like a thumbs down, and I'll respond to you, and we'll chop it up. Like whatever you need, man, for real. But yeah, crazy times, man. How I overcame depression in the army. Um, if you like videos like this, man, let me know in the comment section. Drop a like. If not, drop a dislike, whatever. But that's all I got for y'all today. I'm out.